The school hallway was always loud in the morning. Students talked, lockers slammed, teachers rushed with papers in their hands. But today, something felt different. Something new was about to happen, and nobody knew it yet. Ethan, a quiet 14-year-old boy, stood near his locker, tying his shoelace. He noticed that students were whispering and pointing toward the entrance. Some looked excited. Some looked nervous. Some had big smiles, waiting for drama. Then the doors opened. A small girl stepped inside. She was not human. Everyone knew it. In 1 second, her skin had a soft blue glow like moonlight. Her hair was silver, almost floating. Her eyes were big and bright, like 2 small stars. For a moment, the noisy hallway became silent. She held a tiny silver device in her hand, gripping it tightly, as if she was scared someone would take it away. Her clothes were simple, smooth, white fabric that looked like light itself. A teacher walked beside her. "Class, this is Lyra," the teacher announced loudly. "She is an exchange student from a very far place." The students didn't laugh yet, but their eyes were full of questions. Lyra looked around. She clearly didn't know where to go or what to do. Her steps were small and careful, like she was walking on ice. Every movement showed fear. She didn't smile. She didn't wave. She didn't speak. Ethan felt something inside his chest. She looked lonely, more lonely than anyone he had ever seen. But not everyone felt the same. 3 boys from the back, Bruno, Max, and Joel, exchanged grins. These were the school bullies. They loved attention. They loved someone weaker than them. And Lyra looked very weak. Bruno whispered, "New toy." Max chuckled, "Alien toy." Joel smirked, "This is gonna be fun." Lyra didn't hear them, at least. Ethan hoped she didn't. But she kept clutching the silver device like it was her only friend. As she walked down the hallway, some students stepped away from her. Others leaned in, curious. A few even tried to take pictures. Lyra's eyes widened at every camera flash. She clearly didn't understand human culture. The teacher tried to calm everyone. "All right, give her space. She is here to learn, just like you." But the teacher's voice did nothing. Students kept staring. Ethan watched as Lyra reached her new locker. She didn't know how to open it. She looked at the lock, confused, like it was a puzzle she had never seen before. Her silver device blinked softly, as if reacting to her stress. She pressed her fingers on the lock hesitantly. Nothing happened. She tried again. Still nothing. A few kids laughed quietly. Ethan felt bad. He wanted to help, but he didn't know if he should. What if she got scared? What if others made fun of him too? Before he could think further, Bruno walked over with a fake friendly smile. "Need help, little alien?" Lyra stepped back instantly. She shook her head and held the device closer to her chest. Her breathing grew faster. Max joined him. "Yeah, let us teach you human ways." Joel added, "Don't worry, we are very kind." Their voices sounded sweet, but their eyes were full of cruelty. The teacher saw them and shouted, "Boys, leave her alone." They backed off slowly, pretending they did nothing wrong. But their grins promised trouble. Lyra finally managed to open the locker after pressing random buttons on the device. The lock clicked open smoothly, as if the device communicated with it. Her eyes softened with relief, but she still looked around. Nervously, Ethan noticed something else. Her skin glowed brighter whenever she felt scared. And right now, she looked like a small lantern. When the bell rang, everyone rushed toward their classrooms. Lyra walked slowly, trying to follow the teacher. Students pushed past her without saying sorry. She stumbled a little but stayed silent. Ethan walked behind them, watching carefully. During class, Lyra sat alone at the corner desk. She didn't raise her hand. She didn't talk. She didn't even open her notebook at first. She just stared at everything like she was studying a new world. The teacher asked, "Lyra, would you like to introduce yourself?" Lyra's lips trembled. She stood up, but before she could speak, her silver device vibrated softly. She quickly pressed it to silence it, looking embarrassed. I am here to learn," she whispered, voice shaky. "I want to understand humans," some kids snickered. Others looked impressed. Ethan simply felt sad. She seemed so fragile. When class ended, Lyra hurried out before anyone could talk to her. But the bullies watched her leave, whispering plans. Ethan knew something bad was coming, and he knew she had nobody on her side. Not yet. Lyra spent the first morning of school in silence. She moved like a small shadow, always keeping her head low, always clutching the silver device in her hand. No one knew what the device did, but whenever she got scared, it blinked softly, like a quiet heartbeat. During break time, the schoolyard filled with noise. Students played basketball, ate snacks, and talked loudly, but Lyra didn't join any group. She walked slowly to a corner bench near a tree and sat alone. She took out a small lunchbox the school had given her, but she didn't open it. Ethan watched her from across the yard. He wanted to approach her, maybe say hello, but he wasn't sure if she wanted to talk. She looked like she wanted to disappear. Unfortunately, someone else noticed her too. The bullies. Bruno, Max, and Joel were sitting on the stairs, throwing stones at trash cans. They looked bored. Bored bullies were dangerous. Bruno spotted Lyra and smirked. There she is, our little alien princess. Max stretched his arms. Why is she sitting all alone? Does she think she's too special for humans? Joel cracked his knuckles. Let's make her feel welcome. They stood up together and walked toward her. Ethan's stomach tightened. He knew this was bad. He looked around for a teacher, but none were close enough to help. His heart raced. Lyra didn't notice them until their shadows fell over her. She looked up slowly, and her glow dimmed. She hugged the silver device tight. Bruno leaned forward. "Hi there, Shiny. Eating alone?" She didn't answer. She only shook her head. Max laughed. "Come on, we're friendly. We just want to know what alien food looks like." Joel opened her lunchbox without asking. "Let's see." Inside were small, round, colorful pills. They smelled like fruit. Joel lifted one. "What is this, candy?" Lyra whispered. "Nutrition capsules." "For my body type," Bruno smirked. "So you don't eat real food? You don't chew?" She shook her head. Her silver hair trembled. "That's weird," Max said loudly. Other students turned to look. Bruno dropped the capsule on the ground. "Oops, my bad." Lyra gasped softly and bent down to pick it up, but Max stepped on it, crushing it into dust. Lyra froze. Her device blinked bright yellow warning color. "It's okay," she whispered to herself. "I have more." She reached for another capsule, but Joel snatched the whole box from her. "Not anymore," he said, shaking it like a toy. "Please give it back," Lyra said. Her voice was tiny. Ethan watched from afar, fists tight, but he still didn't move. He felt scared too. Bruno was bigger than him. Max was stronger. Joel was fast. Ethan didn't know what he could even do. The bullies continued. Bruno pointed to a patch of dirt. "If you're so alien, then eat like an alien from the ground." Lyra blinked rapidly, confused and frightened. "No, please. That is not my way." Max pushed her shoulder lightly. "Come on, show us." Joel dropped some capsules onto the dirt. Free meal. Lyra stared at the crushed capsules on the ground. Her breath became shaky. Her glow flickered like a weak flame. Some students laughed nervously. Others watched with uncomfortable silence. No one stepped in. Lyra slowly bent down and touched one of the capsules. Her fingers trembled. She didn't want to eat it, but she was too scared to refuse. Her device vibrated violently, almost buzzing out of her hand. She grabbed it with both hands, pressing it against her chest. A soft electronic voice whispered from it. "Stress levels." Rising, stay calm, Lyra. The bullies didn't hear the voice, but Ethan did. His eyes widened. The device wasn't just decoration. It was a warning system. Bruno grabbed her arm. I said eat. Lyra shook her head desperately. I cannot. Please. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't let them fall. She was trying so hard to stay calm. Ethan felt something snap inside him. He couldn't watch anymore. He stood up, heart pounding, and started walking toward them, but he wasn't fast enough. Before he could reach them, Bruno pushed Lyra down. She hit the dirt softly, her knees scraping the ground. Her silver hair covered her face. Her device flashed bright red. Red meant danger. Ethan froze in fear. What was happening? What would the device do? But Lyra pressed it quickly, whispering, Stop, stop, trying to calm it down. The bullies laughed. Bruno said, See? She's harmless. She's nothing. But Ethan saw the truth. She wasn't nothing. She was scared. She was alone. And the bullies were just getting started. He took a deep breath, and for the first time that day, he stepped forward, ready to do something he'd never done before. Lyra sat frozen on the dirt, knees shaking, her silver hair falling over her face like a curtain. The crushed nutrition capsules spread around her like broken pieces of hope. The schoolyard noise faded into a strange, heavy silence. Even the wind seemed to stop. Bruno stood in front of her with his arms crossed. Max and Joel waited behind him, smirking proudly, like they had achieved something great. Pick it up, Bruno said. His voice was calm, but the coldness in it made Lyra flinch. Lyra looked up slowly. Her glowing blue eyes were filled with fear. Please, this is not right. I cannot eat this. Max pointed to the dirt. Why not? You're an alien. You don't eat normal food anyway. Joel gave a harsh laugh. Yeah, dirt is natural, right? Free meal for you. Some students watching from a distance whispered quietly. Others took small videos with their phones, too scared or too curious to stop what was happening. A few looked away, unable to handle the cruelty. Ethan stood several steps away, fists tight, heart beating like a drum. He wanted to run to her, but fear held his legs still. He was ashamed, but fear was loud. Lyra hugged her silver device tighter. It flickered red again. Red meant danger. But she seemed more scared of the device than of the bullies. Bruno leaned closer. Lyra shook her head, whispering, No. He kicked the dirt near her hand, making dust rise into her face. She coughed softly. Her glow dimmed even more. Ethan took one step forward, then another. But his feet felt heavy. Max knelt beside Lyra and picked up a crushed capsule. He placed it right in front of her mouth. She looked away, tears building in her eyes. Max tilted his head. You're crying? Seriously? Joel rolled his eyes. She's so weak. I thought aliens would be tough. Lyra closed her eyes for a moment, trying to stay calm. But the silver device kept buzzing, louder each second. She whispered to it, Please, not now. I am okay. I am okay. But she wasn't okay. Bruno grabbed her arm and pulled her forward. She gasped in pain. Eat what we dropped, he repeated. Now. Ethan heard the voice of his own fear saying, Don't get involved. They'll hurt you too. But another voice, stronger, clearer, said, If you don't help her now, no one will. Still he hesitated. Lyra looked at the capsules on the ground. Her breathing became shallow. Her glowing skin flickered rapidly, like a light struggling to stay alive. I cannot, she whispered again. Her voice sounded like it was breaking. Bruno pushed her again. Yes, you can. And then she actually reached for the dirt. Ethan's heart dropped. She picked up a dirty capsule with trembling fingers. Dust covered it. Her hands shook. Tears finally fell from her glowing eyes. She opened her mouth slowly. Max laughed. She's really gonna do it. Joel kicked the dirt again, making more dust fly onto the capsules. Eat, Show us how aliens survive. Lyra's hands shook even harder. Her lower lip trembled. Her silver device vibrated so intensely it made a soft alarm sound. Warning. Stress level critical. It whispered. Only Ethan heard it clearly. He took a deep breath. He stepped forward. Before he even reached them, Bruno grabbed Lyra's wrist harshly, forcing her hand closer to her mouth. Lyra cried out softly. No, please, stop. Ethan shouted, Hey, stop it. His voice echoed across the yard. Everyone turned. Even Lyra. Her eyes widened when she saw Ethan standing there. Bruno looked over his shoulder, annoyed. What do you want, hero? Max sneered. Yeah, this is none of your business. Joel cracked his knuckles. Maybe you want to sit on the ground too? Ethan ignored them. He walked straight to Lyra and knelt beside her. He gently took her hand away from her mouth. Her fingers were cold and shaking. It's okay, he whispered. You don't have to do this, Bruno scoffed. Mind your own business. Ethan picked up the crushed capsules and brushed the dirt off Lyra's clothes. His hands shook, but he tried to hide it. He looked up at Bruno. I said stop. Bruno stepped closer, towering over Ethan. Or what? Before Ethan could speak, Lyra's device flashed a bright red light, brighter than before. A deep humming sound vibrated through the yard. Students gasped. Some backed away. Joel whispered. What's happening? Lyra covered the device. Quickly, terrified. Stop, please, not now. The humming grew louder. Ethan swallowed hard. Lyra, what is that? She shook her head. If I get too scared, it sends signals. To my ship. Bruno frowned. Ship? What ship? Far above the sky, something massive moved among the clouds. Ethan looked up, eyes widening. Something was coming. And this was only the beginning. Asterisk. The humming sound from Lyra's device grew. Deeper and stronger, like a heartbeat made of metal. The air around her seemed to vibrate. Students stepped back, whispering nervously. Some looked up at the sky, wondering what was hiding behind the clouds. Ethan didn't step back. He stayed beside Lyra, even though his legs wanted to run. Courage wasn't the absence of fear. It was standing still even when fear screamed at him to leave. Bruno, Max and Joel stared at the glowing device with confused faces. What is that thing doing? Max asked, stepping back slightly. Joel swallowed hard. Does it explode? It better not explode. Bruno tried to hide his fear. Relax, it's just a toy, right? But even he didn't sound sure. Lyra covered the device with her hands, whispering, Stop, please stop. I am safe. But the device didn't believe her. It flashed red again. Ethan crouched beside her. Lyra, what does it mean? She took a shaky breath. If my stress is too high, the device warns my guardians. They think I am in danger. They think humans are hurting me. Ethan's face paled. Guardians, you mean? Aliens? Lyra nodded with a frightened expression. My people watch me. They are always ready to protect me. A sudden gust of wind blew across the yard, lifting dirt into the air. Students grabbed their backpacks and stepped away quickly. Max pointed at the sky. Hey, look! Through the clouds, a faint shape appeared, round, dark, enormous. It moved slowly, like something waking up. A murmur spread through the students. Someone dropped their lunch. Someone else whispered, Is that a ship? A real spaceship? Bruno finally looked scared. We didn't mean to do anything dangerous. But Ethan ignored all of them. He focused on the girl sitting in the dirt, shaking, hoping no one would get hurt because of her fear. He sat down beside her, not caring about the dust or the bullies or the ship above them. It's okay, Lyra, he said gently. You're not alone. I'm here. Lights on the device softened from red to orange, responding to his calm voice. Lyra blinked up at him, tears still shining on her cheeks. Why Why help me? Humans laugh at me. Humans call me weird. Not all humans, Ethan said. Some care. Some see when something is wrong. Lyra looked at the crushed capsule still lying on the ground. I didn't want trouble. I only wanted to learn. I know, Ethan said quietly. And they shouldn't have done this to you. Bruno stepped forward, trying to regain control. Hey, don't act like you're some hero. She's not even human. Ethan stood up. Slowly, he felt fear, yes, but it didn't matter anymore. She's a person, he said firmly. And you three are cowards. The bullies flinched at the word. Cowards. Joel narrowed his eyes. Watch it. No, Ethan said. You watch. You've been hurting her since she arrived. She didn't fight back. That doesn't make her weak. It makes you cruel. His voice was steady, surprising even himself. Students whispered. Some nodded. Others recorded. Bruno clenched his jaw. Stay out of it. I'm already in it, Ethan said. And you're done. Before Bruno could respond, the device in Lyra's hand spoke again, louder than before. Danger response. Deactivated. Human ally detected. A soft blue light spread around Ethan's feet, scanning him like a gentle wave. Lyra watched in surprise. You calmed me, she whispered. My device, it trusts you. Ethan managed a small smile. Good. Up in the sky, the dark shape paused. Then, slowly, it drifted back into the clouds, disappearing from view, as if the ship received a message saying everything was safe. Again. Students sighed in relief. Others stared in shock. Bruno looked around, suddenly aware that everyone was watching him, not with fear but with disgust. This isn't over, he muttered. Ethan stepped closer. Yes, it is. Leave her alone, Bruno. Hesitated, then turned sharply and walked away. Max and Joel followed him, their bravado gone. Lyra's device turned green, a calm color. She looked at Ethan with soft glowing eyes. You stopped them. No one ever stood for me before. Ethan shook his head. Anyone should have. I'm sorry I waited so long. Lyra stared at her crushed capsule sadly. My food is gone. Ethan opened his backpack and pulled out his lunch. You can have mine, but human food is different, she whispered. Then we'll try small bites, Ethan said. Together. For the first time, Lyra smiled, small, shy, glowing. Even brighter than before. Around them, the schoolyard slowly returned to normal. Students whispered stories about the alien girl, the glowing device, and the human who stood up for her. But Ethan wasn't thinking about being a hero. He was thinking about the small girl who had almost eaten dirt because no one cared. Not anymore, because now she had someone. The schoolyard slowly returned to noise and movement, but the air still felt heavy, like everyone sensed something unbelievable had just happened. Students whispered from far corners, afraid to get too close to Lyra after seeing the glowing device and the strange shape in the sky. Ethan and Lyra sat together under the tree, away from the crowd. Lyra's glow had softened to a calm blue, but she still looked shaken. Her silver device rested gently in her hands, quiet for the first time that day. Ethan watched her carefully. Are you okay? Lyra nodded, but it was a small, fragile nod. Yes, because you helped me. Ethan smiled a little, but his mind was full of questions. He looked at the device. So, that thing talks? It protects you? Lyra hesitated. Her fingers tightened around the metal. It is my guardian. Link, it connects me to my people, to my family. Your family up there? Ethan asked, eyes lifting toward the sky. Lyra followed his gaze. Yes, they watch from afar. They worry for me, too much. Why too much? Ethan asked gently. She lowered her head. For a moment, she didn't speak. Then she whispered, because I am not just any student. I am a diplomatic heir. Ethan blinked. What? A child chosen to study other worlds, Lyra explained softly. Chosen to build peace, to understand other species. So, basically an alien ambassador? Ethan asked. Lyra nodded with a tiny smile. Yes, but I am only a child. I am still learning. Ethan looked impressed. That's actually amazing. But Lyra didn't look proud. She looked sad. My people think humans are dangerous, she said quietly. They think Earth is too violent, too unpredictable. Ethan frowned. Because of the bullies? Because of everything, Lyra whispered. Your wars. Your weapons, your anger. Ethan lowered his eyes. He didn't know how to defend humanity. Lyra looked at him again, her voice trembling. I wanted to prove them wrong. I wanted to show that humans can be kind. Ethan felt a sting in his chest. And what happened today? Lyra closed her eyes. Proved them right. The silence between them grew heavy. Ethan shook his head. No, not all humans are like Bruno and the others. Some help, some care, like the teachers. Like, he stopped, embarrassed. Lyra tilted her head. Like who? Ethan cleared his throat. Like me, I guess. Lyra's glow brightened slightly. Yes, you are different, Ethan. He smiled awkwardly, but before they could say anything else, the silver device vibrated softly. Lyra's expression changed instantly, from calm to panic. No, not again, she whispered. Ethan leaned closer. What is it? The device projected a small hologram, floating light shapes forming into a symbol Ethan didn't understand. It looked like a crest or a seal. Then a voice deeper than before echoed softly. Report. Stress spike detected. Lyra hurried to mute it. Stop. I am safe. I am safe. The hologram flickered, then disappeared. Ethan stared in shock. Z's. Someone talking to you. Lyra nodded slowly. My guardian officers. They monitor my heart rate, my fear levels, everything. They want to know if humans hurt me. Ethan felt anger rise in him. So if something bad happens to you, your people attack Earth? Lyra's voice was quiet but honest. They prepare to defend me. If they think I am in danger, they will not hesitate. Ethan's heart pounded. But the bullies didn't know. No one knew. I know. Lyra looked deeply guilty. That is why I must stay calm. That is why I cannot let fear win. Her eyes shimmered. If today had gone worse, if you didn't stop them, my ship would have sent a rescue force. Humans would have seen a threat. Ethan imagined it. Giant alien ships, weapons pointed at Earth, all because of a few school bullies. It was terrifying, but Lyra was trembling again. Not because she feared her own people, but because she didn't want humans hurt. I chose to come here, she said with a breaking voice. I chose Earth, but my people think I made a mistake. Ethan touched her arm gently. You didn't. Her glow warmed. She took a deep breath. My people test me too. They want to see if I can handle stress. If I can live among others. If I can create peace. Ethan nodded. And you can. You just need support. Lyra's eyes widened. Support? Yeah, Ethan said. Someone who has your back. Someone who helps you understand humans. Someone who can stand up for you. Lyra whispered. A human guide? Ethan smiled. Exactly. She looked at him with soft, shining eyes. Will you guide me, Ethan? He didn't hesitate. Yes, I will. The device glowed green again, as if approving the bond. But the moment of peace didn't last. A shadow moved across the ground, sharper and bigger than before. Students looked up and gasped. Another shape was forming in the sky. But this one wasn't from Lyra's people. Lyra's face turned pale. That signal, she whispered. That is not my guardian. Ethan's blood ran cold. Then who is it? Students stared at the sky as the new dark shape pushed through the clouds. It wasn't round like Lyra's peaceful guardianship. This one was long, sharp, and looked like a creature made of metal and shadow. It moved quietly, too quietly. Like a hunter, Ethan felt cold fear crawl across his skin. "Lyra, that's not your people?" Lyra shook her head slowly. Her glow dimmed until her skin looked almost gray. "No, that is something else, something dangerous." Her silver device began flashing orange and red at the same time, colors that meant confusion, fear, and alert. Ethan stepped closer to her. "What do they want?" Lyra's voice cracked. "They follow diplomatic airs. They watch our missions. They wait for weakness." Ethan didn't like the sound of that. "So, they're enemies?" "They are invaders," Lyra whispered. "They steal knowledge. They kidnap gifted children. If they see me alone, they will try to take me." Ethan felt his stomach twist. The bullies had no idea how much danger they had created. This wasn't just school trouble anymore. Other students backed away, some crying, some recording with shaking hands. Teachers rushed out into the yard, shouting for everyone to get inside, but no one wanted to turn their back on the sky. The dark ship lowered slightly, casting a long shadow across the playground. It hummed, but not like Lyra's device. This sound felt wrong, like metal grinding teeth. Ethan grabbed Lyra's hand. Her fingers trembled. She looked up at him in shock. "Ethan, why are you holding my hand?" "So you don't feel alone," he said simply. Her glow brightened, just a little. "Humans are strange," he smiled nervously. "We try." The dark ship drifted lower until it hovered barely above the clouds. Students screamed and ran toward the building. Teachers shouted orders, but Ethan stayed. So did Lyra's device projected another hologram, this time showing a symbol Ethan didn't recognize. It looked like sharp claws around a star. "That is the mark of the shadow burn," Lyra whispered. "They take whatever they want." Ethan stepped in front of her. "Not today." Lyra shook her head frantically. "You cannot fight them. They are powerful, more powerful than humans." "Maybe," Ethan said, "but I can still stand here." The device glowed green toward Ethan again, as if recognizing his bravery, but then the bullies appeared again from behind the school wall. They had been hiding but now looked terrified. Bruno whispered, What is happening? Is that because of US?" Ethan turned sharply toward them. "Yes, because of what you did." Bruno's face fell. Max looked sick. Joel looked ready to faint. Lyra stepped forward. "If they take me, it is not your fault alone. The Shadowburn always hunt. They look for fear. They smell it." Ethan frowned. "Smell fear?" Lyra nodded. "My stress, my panic, it called them." Ethan swallowed hard. "So how do we stop them?" Lyra stared at her device. "I must show them I am protected, that humans are not my enemy, that I have allies." Ethan stepped forward. "You do, you have me." Bruno surprised everyone when he blurted out, "Us too." Ethan stared at him. "You, after everything?" Bruno shook visibly. "If we don't help, that thing will destroy the school." Max and Joel nodded quickly, guilt heavy on their faces. They weren't brave, they were terrified, but I still stepped closer. Lyra looked shocked. "Humans protect even when afraid?" Ethan nodded. "It's what humanity should mean." Lyra activated the device. It scanned the boys. The light read their bodies, emotions, and intentions. The device glowed yellow. "Regret detected," it announced softly. Bruno whispered, "Yeah. We're sorry, we were stupid." Lyra blinked. "Humans admit mistakes." Ethan placed his hand on her shoulder. "Good humans do." Lyra swallowed, gathering courage. "Then I must show the Shadowburn that Earth is not weak, that I am not alone." She lifted the device toward the sky. It projected a massive hologram shield, a bright dome of light only aliens could read. Symbols spun across it. "Air protected. Attempt capture will fail." The dark ship paused, It hummed louder. Slowly, it circled, scanning the shield. Ethan felt his heart racing. Is it working? I don't know, Lyra whispered. The wind roared. As the shadow ship drifted closer, like a giant metallic predator testing the cage, then a new sound filled the sky. A comforting one. Lyra's guardian ship reappeared, bigger, brighter, armed. The Shadowburn ship froze. The guardian ship spoke in a booming message only Lyra could understand. Lyra smiled. They came for me, because they sensed your courage. Ethan's face softened. Our courage? Your humanity, she said. Your kindness. The Shadowburn ship hesitated, then disappeared back into the clouds, retreating like a defeated wolf. Students cheered from inside the school. Lyra looked at Ethan with wonder. You saved me. Humans saved me, Ethan smiled. Sometimes humans surprise even themselves. But Lyra's device buzzed again, not in warning this time, but in announcement. New message received, it said. A decision must be made. Lyra's glow dimmed. My people want to talk to me. About Earth. Ethan's chest tightened. What decision? Lyra looked at him with sad, glowing eyes. Whether I must leave this planet or stay. The schoolyard was quiet now. The Shadowburn ship had vanished into the clouds, and Lyra's guardian ship hovered peacefully above, shining like a second sun. Students peeked from the windows, too afraid to come outside, but too curious to look away. Ethan and Lyra stood under the tree. The bullies stood a few steps behind them, heads down, still shaken. Everything felt unreal, too big for a normal school day. Lyra held her silver device close. Its glow changed slowly from green to blue, as if preparing for a serious message. My people want to speak, she whispered. Speak to you? Ethan asked. To all of us, she said softly. This is about Earth now. The wind blew, lifting Lyra's silver hair gently. Ethan could tell she was scared, not of the Shadowburn anymore, but of the decision her people were about to make. The device projected a bright circle of light on the ground. A hologram appeared, tall figures with flowing shapes, glowing in soft blue. They didn't look human, but their presence felt calm and wise. A gentle voice spoke from the device. Child Lyra, we have watched your day. We have seen danger. We have felt your fear. Lyra lowered her head. I am sorry. I failed my mission. You did not fail, the voice replied. Lyra looked up, confused. Ethan stood beside her, shoulders squared even though he felt tiny under the alien gaze. The hologram continued. We saw humans hurt you, but we also saw humans protect you. Ethan felt his heart beat hard. The bullies froze, guilt washing over their faces. The guardian voice spoke to them directly. You three, why did you harm our heir? Bruno swallowed loudly. We were stupid. We didn't think it mattered. We didn't think she was important. Every life is important, the guardian said, not angrily but firmly. You have learned that today. Bruno nodded quickly. Yes, we're sorry, Max whispered. Really sorry. Joel added, we won't do anything like that again. The hologram shifted slightly. Your regret is real. That matters. Ethan felt something loosen in his chest. The guardians weren't here to punish only, to understand. Then the voice turned back to Lyra. Child, the humans showed courage. They stood beside you. Even the frightened ones came back. Lyra touched her chest softly. Humans are strange. They fear so much, but still protect. Ethan smiled faintly. Sometimes humanity shines brightest when we're scared. Lyra's glow warmed. The hologram brightened. We must decide if Earth is worthy of friendship. If this world is safe for our heir. Everyone held their breath. Ethan stepped forward before he could stop himself. Please don't take her away. The guardians looked toward him. Human Ethan, why? Ethan felt his throat tighten, but he spoke anyway. Because she belongs. Here too. Maybe not by birth, but by heart. She wants to learn about us. She wants to help. And we need her. Lyra turned to him, eyes shining with surprise. Ethan continued, voice shaking. Humans make mistakes. Big mistakes. We hurt each other. We fear what we don't understand, but we can also change. We can grow. If you take her away, we lose the chance to prove we can be better. The guardians went silent. The light flickered as if they were deeply thinking. Ethan added softly, Earth isn't perfect. But Lyra helped us today. She showed us courage too. She deserves to stay. A long pause spread across the yard. Then the guardian light softened. Human Ethan, the voice said gently, your words carry truth. Your courage influenced our decision. Lyra gasped. The hologram symbols shifted into a peaceful blue. We approve. Lyra may stay on Earth. Lyra covered her mouth in disbelief. I can stay. Yes, the guardian said. Earth has shown potential. Humanity has shown heart. Ethan smiled with relief. The bullies looked amazed and ashamed. Lyra turned to the device. Thank you, guardians. The light faded slowly, and the guardian ship in the sky began to rise back into space. Lyra turned to Ethan, tears of joy glowing like tiny stars on her cheeks. You saved Earth, she said softly. Ethan laughed nervously. I just talked. No, Lyra said. You showed them the meaning of humanity. The school bells rang in the distance, but no one moved. Ethan gently handed her a small slice of his sandwich. We should start your human lessons again. Slowly, Lyra smiled, the brightest smile she had ever made. I will learn. And I will teach you too. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Teach me what? Lyra looked up at the sky where the shadow burn ship had disappeared. Her smile faded slightly. That danger is not gone, she whispered. They will return. Ethan's heart tightened. Then we'll face them together. Lyra nodded. Together. As they walked back toward the school doors, side by side, students stepped away from the windows. Some whispered. Some smiled. Some waved at Lyra shyly. For the first time since she arrived, Lyra didn't look scared. She looked like she belonged. But the clouds above them swirled strangely dark and distant. A faint echo rumbled through the sky. Too soft for others to hear. Lyra heard it. Ethan saw her expression change. Is it the shadow burn again? He whispered. Lyra didn't answer immediately. She looked up, eyes glowing with new resolve. Something worse, she whispered. And the next chapter of their story was just beginning.